Well, thanks a lot, Josh. And, Patrick and I, we were out here. We're just trying to stay warm out here tonight. And, hey, both Zane Trace and Alexander, they've never been this far into November, so they're not really used to the cold either. So, Patrick, on paper, these two teams, they look pretty similar.
Oh, yeah, these are rugged teams, ground and pound offenses with really strong defenses that they rely on. And in a game that seemed as close as this one could be, Coach Penrod told me earlier this week that the key to this game would be limiting their turnovers and limiting Zane Trace's big plays. But as we saw, Blaine, that is not what happened early on in this game. Through Alexander's first 4 possessions, they turned the ball over 4 times, and that resulted in 21 Zane Trace points, putting Alexander in a big hole they just could not climb out of. Let me hit you the stat real quick, Blaine. Through 8 possessions in the first half, Alexander turned the ball over 6 times. You're just not going to win like that. You got to credit the Pioneers defense in this one, but also just a lot of sloppy play going on for the Alexander offense. Just pretty careless play. They finished the game with 7 turnovers on the night, and that really was the reason that they fell in this one, 34-21. And things went from bad to worse when Mason Chapman came up a little bit hobbled on defense with 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in that first quarter. And Coach Penrod told me after the game, he just was not having the effect that he normally does. Not 100% in this game. He was held under 100 rushing yards by Zane Trace's defense, and that's just not something that we're used to seeing out of a guy like Mason Chapman. But, even though his production wasn't there in this one, his leadership skills were clearly on display. I heard him all night at that middle linebacker position, screaming and yelling at his teammates. So, he was definitely an influential player for them this week, but it's just not what they were looking for going in this game. And it's worth noting that they won the second half, 21-6, played very well. But, in a game like this, as you well know, it's about how you play in all 4 quarters. And for most of this game, Zane Trace dominated.
I mean, definitely. It's a playoff game, so you really have to come out on fire, and that's exactly what Zane Trace did. I mean, before the game, I looked into Truman Love's eyes. I got a little scared, Patrick. I mean, these guys, they were really coming out on fire. So here's the story of the night, though. Austin Harris, he was quarterback. He was moved to the quarterback position at the beginning of the season. And then after Joel Dunkel, he was actually out to injury. But tonight, though, the tables kind of turned. Harris, he went out with an ambulatory himself midway through the first. Now, Dunkel, he then went into his old quarterback position. And Dunkel, he's been in a rushing slot ever since returning from his injury. So Dunkel, you could really just see a ton of athleticism out of this guy tonight. He had 21 carries for 113 yards. And really, this is just one story that just shows that this